The least common denominator, or LCD, of a list of fractions is the smallest number divisible by all denominators in the list. A multiple of a number is that number multiplied by any non-zero whole number. For example, a multiple of 9 is 18 because 9 times 2 is 18. We could also do 9 times 3, 27 is a multiple of 9. 9 times 4, 36. It's a multiple of 9, and so on. That continues forever. There's an infinite number of ways to find multiples of a number. Then there's two different ways to find the LCD of a number. Method 1 is using multiples. This is my personal preferred method. We list multiples of the larger denominator starting with that number itself. Then we list multiples of the other denominators. The first number in common is the LCD. Method number 2 uses prime factorizations. We find the prime factorizations of each denominator, and then for each prime factor, circle the greatest number of times that factor occurs in any one factorization. The product of all circled factors is the LCD. Using the multiples method, we'll start with the biggest denominator, 20, and write its multiples. So we'll start with 20 times 1. 20 times 1 is 20. 20 times 2 is 40. 20 times 3 is 60, and so on. We can actually stop at 60 because we have now found a number that is divisible by the smaller denominator, 12. 60 divided by 12 is 5. An alternate way to think of this is list the multiples of 12 as well. 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. And then of course that list continues on, but we have now found a common denominator, 60. So the LCD of this group is 60. Our goal is to eventually be able to add these two fractions or subtract them. But remember, in order to add and subtract fractions, we need a common denominator. Right now, the denominators are not the same. We will eventually rewrite these two fractions using the LCD of 60. And if they have a common denominator of 60, we can then add or subtract them. We'll investigate this more in the next section. For now, let's just find the LCD. In our next list, we have 3 fractions. Again, recognize these are not the same denominator. Let's find the LCD for these 3 fractions. Using the previous technique, the multiples method, we're going to start with the biggest denominator, 60. And we're going to list multiples of 60 until we find a number that is divisible by all 3 denominators. So 60 times 1 is 60. 20 will go into 60 evenly, but 24 will not. So we need another one. 60 times 2 is 120. 20 will divide into 120 evenly, and 24 will as well. 24 goes into 120 5 times. So we found our LCD. Our LCD is 120. In example 6, we're trying to fill in the blank. We want to figure out what number this is to get the equivalent fraction. So what number has to go here? There's a couple different ways to do this. For now, we're going to do it just by asking, what do we have to multiply 8 by to get 56? What number goes here? 8 times what gives us 56? And that number must be 7. So if we replace this question mark with 7, we need to multiply the top by 7 as well. So we'll put a 7 in the numerator. And now 7 times 7 is 49. We now have the equivalent fraction. 49 over 56 is the same thing as 7/8. If we reduced this fraction, we would get 7/8. Let's do the same thing in example B. We have 3/5, and we're asking, what do we have to multiply that by in the denominator to get 100? 5 times what number will give us 100? Or if we wanted to, we could do 100 divided by 5. 5 goes into 10 2 times. 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract and we get a 0. Bring down the 0. 5 goes into 0 0 times, so we have 20. 5 times 20 is 100. So if the denominator is 20, we need to put a 20 in the top as well, in the numerator. And now, 3 times 20 is 60. We have the equivalent fraction, 60 over 100. If we reduced this, we would get 3/5.